Hi, Johnny. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited for you to be involved in this project. Can you tell us more about the the actual buttons that you actually like sort of like develop for the actual project?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, firstly, yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, essentially, to start with, the button is we have three options. So the options would be in terms of raw materials for the cap would be brass, copper, and stainless steel. Where we sort of determine that, or what it's dependent on, is the actual eco finish that's been selected. So based on the eco finish that would be selected, we would sort of choose the particular raw material based on your finishing requirements, really. And then the back part of the button and the nail are both aluminium. So it's a project that we're quite excited to working on. We've been working on it with a few brands, but this is probably the first that's the most prevalent. So it's something that we're quite excited about, and hopefully it becomes a little bit more mainstream.
Johnny, obviously this like sort of a screw button attachment. Obviously, how does it work in like production, and what was it really easy to do, and is it something that you think many clients will actually be happy to do? Obviously, to screw on something, can it be attached quite sort of quickly, or is it still a manual process to attach?
At this moment, it is a manual process because it's new. But as I mentioned briefly, with it being a screw, it's something that we're looking at. Once it becomes more prevalent in the market, I know that the team are already looking in the background at what we can do and how we can make the process slightly more efficient in terms of speed. But yeah, at this moment, it is a manual attachment. But rest assured, we're looking at what we can do, and as soon as we know, and as soon as it becomes more and more, mainstream, it'd be something that I'll be mentioning to Salli about, and how we can sort of hopefully progress that further.
No, I think I think just easier ways in production. Obviously, this is just the first phase of this kind of button, right? But obviously, when more and more people order it, then maybe you have to figure out a way of doing it so it can be attached in a faster way. But it's great because it means the average customer, the average person can also get home and unscrew it if they want, and even like swap it out, which is quite cool. So it's a lot more advantages to having a screw on button than something that's completely permanently there, and you have to get some pliers on it to rip it apart, which is crazy. So
yeah, I think it's sort of phase one, isn't it? And obviously it's ever evolving, and as obviously we're pleased to be involved with it, and obviously any new developments we have from our side in terms of new innovations, new speed or anything, we'll be the first to voice out.
How sustainable are the finishes? Is it better to be with these types of newer types of sustainable trims to not use a lot of chemicals or a lot of finishes on the actual tarnishing of the button or anything? You have to keep it like raw. What have you decided to do?
Yeah, so essentially Prym's sustainable finish, we call it our eco life, and we split it into two categories really. One would be the raw materials again. So I know I mentioned it before, we use brass, copper, and stainless steel, and every one of our raw materials contains a percentage of recycled material. We can't use 100% recycled material at the minute because the button just wouldn't achieve the quality that Prym has as a trim supplier. So there is an element, certain different raw materials have slightly more recycled materials than others, but so that's sort of like part one of where we're using it. So the raw materials are recycled, and the second part is the actual eco life finish. We don't use the galvanic system in our finishing. We use a physical treatment of the raw materials, which is essentially using natural ingredients which are non-harmful to the environment. And by working this way, we eliminate heavy metals, and again, that's less harmful to the environment, and there's less waste. We use on this less water and less electricity.
Amazing.
Certain finishes we can achieve probably up to about 90% less water usage, which is quite exciting.
Really good.
It's a project that we've been working on, I would say, for about 3 or 4 years now, and again, we're just finding that the process can be improved constantly. And for coloured finishes, we're using water-based paint in preference to chemical-based paints.
Yeah. Obviously, thank you so much for your help, and thank you very much for being involved in this collaboration. I'm sure Salli and the guys at NDL have really enjoyed it, and obviously it's great when they're making a collection and showing other clients. They can obviously say that they were using these sustainable trims to do it. So hopefully it it will point more people and open up people's opinion to be using more sustainable ways of actually doing stuff. So very, very good. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us, and hopefully it was helpful. So and good luck.